Hello, and welcome to the Dimitri Dilemma podcast. I'm your host, Dimitri, and welcome. It's good morning, first of all. It's 11:23 for me. I just woke up, and I think it's going to be quite a nonchalant episode. We have coffee in my kissing mug. The first topic is I just wrote in my notes: dating in 2025. Dating in 2025. It's so weird, man. Most of my good friends, are in relationships or just kind of chilling. But I think it's really weird to be a young man in today's dating scene. The apps make me go insane. The dating apps, they literally make you go insane. I don't think I can keep it installed on my phone for more than 2 weeks at a time, if that. And it just drains you. Even if chat's going well, even if, things are moving, it's just feels like you're fishing in a lake, but none of the fish care. And also, you can talk to someone, the chat's going very well, everything's going well. And then as soon as I mention Balkanization and Yugoslavia, and I speak about it for an extended period of time, they're always like, "Oh, weird. Why is this guy so obsessed with the Balkans?" But I'm like, "What the flip?" I feel like that's such a fun little thing. It's such a fun piece of history. It's not fun at all, but it's such an interesting piece of history, and I think a lot of people nowadays just don't care. Well, what can I say? I'm an old soul. Yeah. On the other hand, however, I think young people, like Gen Z, we kind of have this like preconceived notion of what our partner wants to be. And this is what I find a lot on dating apps. And when I meet new people, they kind of have this idealized version of their perfect partner, and then proceed to set themselves insane standards to find that partner. And I mean, I'm guilty of that too. We all are at some point. But I'll open Hinge and just I'll see a profile and they say like, "Oh, you've got to be 6 foot with biceps and be a rugby lad," and I'm like, "Great, cool. Like, you have your type, I have mine. But what do you have in common with this 6 foot rugby guy with biceps? What do you have in common with me?" I'm not putting this in again because that's really grim. I have a sock on my microphone. It's a clean sock, don't worry. To attempt to try and kind of filter the noise and to make it sound a bit better. But I don't know how successful that's going to be in this episode. So if the whole thing is, if the whole audio of this is muted, I'm going to have to record the whole episode, and I'm not going to be happy about that. I finally started working as well. I'm doing my minimum wage job at a supermarket. It's so fucking easy. I started at 5 a.m. yesterday and the day before, and so last night I got 12 hours of the most blissful sleep I think I've ever had in my entire life. That's why I'm so calm and so relaxed right now, because I've just been my brain waves and my heart rate. Oh, you would not believe. I think my resting heart rate last night was 45 BPM. I was completely knocked out my zoink. I've had, I think, one of the busiest weeks I've ever had. On Monday, I went to a gig. Model actors, they were awesome. Then I saw some friends later in the week. Then I had my first project due, which was awesome. Not really. It was really easy and really kind of monotonous. And me and the boys, we had a game plan. We were like, "Oh, for project, we like for the day of our project, let's pull up in suits and let's look tough as fuck. Yeah, let's look cold." And then we walk into the engineering building, and we see about 200 people all crammed into one tiny area, just shoulder to shoulder. It was just a miserable time, really, for everyone walking through. and I was in a suit, and I was very stuffy and very warm. And I also looked like a dickhead, which isn't really what you want in front of 200 engineering students. Although the current state of engineering students is, let me put it blankly, the standards are not very high to be an engineering student in terms of BO and hygiene. Yeah, no, my lectures have a strange smell to them, and you gotta be careful who you sit next to, because sometimes your nostril hairs will be singed off. Another thing I've started to do recently is to just get stoned and read a book. I think it's a really fun activity to do when you're stoned, because I think you can kind of get to the story. You can, because you're in the altered state, of course. You can get into the story. It's more immersive and it's more interesting, I think, I find. And in the book I'm reading, I read something very interesting about schizophrenics and religion. It's a fiction book, but these themes run through. And a lot of schizophrenics have very strange or very like strong religious intentions. And the most common time frame for someone being schizophrenic is between 18 and 25 years old, which is also when most people start to confront their main beliefs about God and spirituality and etc., the afterlife. So I do find that very interesting. Personally, I don't believe in God. I'm not a religious man. However, I do kind of accept the fact that people do choose religion, because it's an answer. It's an answer to a million unanswered questions. Why am I here? What am I doing here? What should I be doing? What is my end goal? A lot of people, everyone has these questions, and I understand religion's place in that. However, I have never felt that I needed those questions answered. I've kind of always enjoyed this life of a bit of like spiritual ambiguity. I don't really know where I am. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm having fun. I'm talking big picture here. I'm having fun. I'm enjoying myself, and at the end of the day, I'm just a chiller. I'm just a branch. I asked my sister about topics that I should talk about on the podcast, and she was like, "Oh, do like a little bit about me, like me. Who am I? Where have I been? What have I done?" So I'll do a little history, I think. I was born in London to immigrant parents who fled Yugoslavia during the war. That's why I fucking love the Balkans. Um, and I've lived in various places. I've lived in the Middle East for a while, and I've lived in the UK for about 4 years. And my life was pretty crazy, as you could see. No, I'm very blessed to have a comfortable life, I guess. But I have a couple little anecdotes for you. So in year 11 history, we were learning about the Cold War and about various communist government in Europe, post World War II. And one of the strongest, or one of the biggest communist parties in Europe at the time was Italy. The Italy Communist Party was projected to win the general election. And so the Americans, big or US, they're like, wait, communists in Italy? We don't want communist pizza. We can't have this. So fucking CIA meddled with the elections. They went, ooh, let me stick my grubby little CIA disgusting fingers in here. In a country that, fucking democracy, because yeah, we love democracy, says the US, and then proceed to do very undemocratic things. I feel like I'm a Balkan taxi driver right now. This is like a Balkan taxi driver conversation. Anyway, and my history teacher, who I guess I feel like was a very big lefty, asked the class, who thinks that it was wrong for the CIA to meddle in the Italian elections? And me and one other person put our hands up. And I got called John Communist for 2 years by a Reform UK voter, which is a success, I think. Another fun story. Um, I was about 11, 12 years old, something like that, maybe a bit younger. I was back home in Bosnia, or back home. I was in Bosnia with my grandparents and my parents, summer holiday. And I was just sat in the driveway, eating my breakfast of various pastries and meats, classic Balkan breakfast. And my granddad was coming home, and he was kind of reversing. Um, and I was having a really good day because I was like, it's summer, we've got trampoline, can't wait to do that. Can't wait to go for a swim in the river. I'm having an awesome time. I get to drink so many Coca-Colas because it's summer. My parents don't care. And I'm like, hell yeah. Anyway, my granddad reversing in the driveway. He sees me eating my breakfast. And I kind of thought, he'd stop kind of near me-ish. Because, there's still enough space for him to park his car. But he kind of just keeps reversing. And then literally in 1 second, my dad and my sister will launch up from the table and move to the side very quickly. And I was a bit confused at what happened because I had a mouthful of pastries and meats, as mentioned. And my granddad, poor guy, he just kind of keeps reversing. And then he knocks me over with the car going about 2 miles an hour. So I fall over and I'm in like, ah. And then he finally realizes. So he gets out the car and he's like, oh shit, Demon, I didn't see you. And I was like, oh, my back. My back. So I go like lay down for a bit. And I remember like how stiff and like horrible. Like, when you like have a fall or like you turn your back in a strange way and it's like very stiff and sore. So that happened and I couldn't go on the trampoline for like a week. In my 2 week holiday. Couldn't go on the trampoline for a week. I was pissed. Another fun fact about me, when I moved to the UK, I was spending a lot of time alone. I just moved here with my dad, and I hadn't started school yet, so he would go to work, as a man does, and then I was just home alone. I had nothing to do. I wasn't doing anything, and I had nothing to do. So I started just playing an insane amount of chess. In like 3 months, I went from 300 rated to 1100 rated. I was just playing so much fucking chess. And then when I started school, I didn't have any friends, obviously, so I was like, oh, let me go to the library, let me play some chess. So I go every break time, I play chess every break time. And I tell my dad this, and he comes home one day and he's like, hey, do you know, like, how was school today? Like, you were playing chess. Are you winning? And for some reason, 15-year-old me decides to whip out the coldest line I've ever uttered. And I look at him dead in the eye and I go, I don't lose. And he still giggles about it to this day. But to be fair, I didn't lose a game until my first chess tournament where I came second last place. Because for some reason, I just had insane crack chess players that were like 16 years old. I was like, what the fuck? I thought I was Eastern European. I thought I was meant to be good at this. But no. What the hell? I got a new laptop, by the way, so that's why I might be more crisp. The microphone is still the same microphone. Thanks, roommate, for lending me the microphone. It's a clean sock, I promise. New laptop. I get to play Minecraft, so I have a question for the viewers. Do you guys want me to stream the day that I beat the Ender Dragon? Because, fun fact, I've never beat the Ender Dragon. I've never beat Minecraft. I don't think I've ever had like full diamond armor either. Like I played a lot of Minecraft in my time, but I was like a stupid 8-year-old boy, and so I kind of just never really. I never have beat the Ender Dragon, and I'd like to. And now that I have Minecraft playing capabilities, I can play Minecraft. So do you guys want me to stream? Being the Ender Dragon, and then I can make a podcast. I can clip it and upload it on YouTube as well as like a highlight video. I think that'd be really cool. Maybe we'll have face cam, maybe not. I don't know. My technological Oh my god, it's so windy! My technological abilities are not that high. Karl Marx Capital Notebook, what you saying? The only thing I have written in this notebook, which I probably wrote when I was incredibly fried, is performative males. I've been accused of being a performative male. I think I've mentioned this in the past few episodes. But I think that term, this is more of a cultural take of mine, rather than my experience myself of being a supposed performative male. I think a cultural thing, or like in the meme culture, I think it's the word or the phrase has just lost all meaning. Same with it's just become slop. People, when memes and trends and things go big, and the mainstream and like everyone kind of starts hearing about it, it just turns into slop, and I don't like it. And you guys are all victim of this. I know all of you guys go on Reels or TikTok or something like that. You've seen slop. Everyone's seen slop. You've consumed slop. And by slop I mean, like, when Charlie Kirk died, at like the first week the memes were hilarious. Second week, they're again there. But now you get AI generated songs of "We are Charlie." We are Charlie Kirk, we carry the flame. And, as funny and stupid as this AI generated shitty song is, it's slop. What? Like, I don't understand. Internet trends just aren't funny, like, for very long anymore. The cycle of an internet trend now is like a few weeks, a month at most. And I think the same thing happened with, like, performative male. It doesn't mean anything anymore. It just does not mean anything anymore. Performative males, by definition, are people like men who put on a performance to appear more feminine, more approachable, more kind of not more feminine, but more appealing to women, in the sense that they want to get with them. So, reading feminist literature, wearing a tote bag, drinking matcha, wired headphones, all these things. Because they do this all to get cooch. However, I've been accused of being a performative male, and okay, to an extent, I agree. But also, I don't do it to get cooch. I do it because, but I don't get cooch. I don't pull. So I don't understand the point of me doing all this, and you know. I also wrote here, slop in media all the time, hyphen, back to 6'7". 6'7" just isn't funny anymore. Sorry. It wasn't funny to begin with. And then it was kind of funny. Like when in math class you just randomly see the numbers 6 and 7 together and you'd be like, what? But now, people just can't look at numbers the same. Like, I keep seeing TikToks of, like, teachers banning 6'7", and, like, whenever they say it in class, the kids erupt. What the fuck? TikTok is killing the youth. Excuse me? We did not do this with 21 and 69. We did not do this. We would, like, think about it, but we wouldn't erupt like these modern Gen Alphas are. And also, Gen Alpha can't read. Kids are getting dumber. I read something about how the SATs in the UK, year 6 SATs, the scores are getting worse and worse every year, especially for reading, because kids are just on their phone all the time, and that's neither a fault, well, somewhat a fault of the parents and the kids, but mostly the people at fault, big corporations, capitalism, AI, because they all profit off that. They've made the most evil algorithm possible to keep you as hooked as possible for as long as possible with these short videos. I mean, I'm victim to it myself. I spend so much fucking time on TikTok, so much time on Reels. Before, like, I will come home at 4 o'clock and then suddenly it's 6 o'clock and I've just been on Reels for 2 hours and I don't know where those 2 hours went. I don't remember a single Reel I've watched. And it is my fault to an extent, you know, but they have made this algorithm as evil and parasitic as possible, and it's just disgusting to see kids being affected, like kids' intelligence actively being affected by this. It's so it's so fucked up. It's so evil. It's so uniquely evil. And speaking of uniquely evil, I watched a very interesting video essay about a man called Peter Thiel, who I think is the current Secretary of War, Secretary of Defense for the US. Peter Thiel, sorry, he's not the Secretary of War or Defense. I'm talking out my ass.
In February 2022, Thiel was one of the largest donors to Republican candidates in the 2022 election campaign. Basically, Peter Thiel, uniquely evil guy. He started PayPal with Elon Musk.
We are Charlie Kirk, we carry the flag.
ICE need Palantir for the surveillance and the counter-terrorism. Have you guys seen the fucking ICE videos? It's just 3 masked vigilantes, state thugs, arresting US citizens who just happen to be Hispanic. It's so fucked up. The fact that they're deporting people on such a large scale, and it's only going to get bigger. And you know, the same thing can be seen in the US. Not like in terms of praxis, not in terms of the practical aspects of it. You know, we don't have ICE in the UK or an equivalent, but the rhetoric is the same. You know, if you look at people like Nigel Farage, they're like, we need to deport tons of people. And then when Keir Starmer did the 1 in, 1 out idea with France, what the fuck? These are people. These are humans. The UK government, I think, has just lost its humanity. I know at protests they get drones and they have brow recognition. So even if you cover your face, they can still tell who you are through your brows and shit. That's fucking scary. Holy shit, that's fucking scary. We have a right to protest. It's in law. We have the right to protest peacefully. Holy fucking shit. I hate the fact that the whole world is turning into a surveillance state. You know, Britain is one of the most surveilled countries in the world. We have so many CCTV cameras. I think we're third only to the US and China, or like second only to China or something. Holy fuck, dude. Like, you may think you live in anonymity, but no. Government knows exactly where you are. TikTok knows exactly where you are and what you're doing. They know everything about you. I'm getting too passionate. It's 12 in the morning. Oh, podcast fans. Look what I have over here. A really bloody nice camera. Here we are. However, my fucking fickle ass forgot to get a battery for this. I was so excited to record the podcast on this because I'm going to be in 4K, but my fickle ass forgot to put a battery in this. So as soon as I get a battery on this, you're going to get the crispest vlog, the crispest podcast footage. I do want this podcast. Look, as much as it is fucking stupid, and like, this isn't going to go anywhere. No one's going to see this, right? I'm having so much fun making this podcast. You know, it's 11 in the morning. I have nothing to do all day. Might as well just record, you know. Low-key, I might have to cut this episode short because I really want to play Minecraft. Papa wants to go play Minecraft, I think. Please comment down below. Anything you want to see on the podcast? Because also this laptop is incredibly fast now, this new laptop, so I can edit probably quicker, maybe better. But I'd like to hear you guys' constructive criticism on my podcast. I try and make it as engaging as possible, but I understand that a lot of people just A, don't watch YouTube, and B, don't watch podcasts generally. It's not a very popular form of media. I think, compared to other forms of media. But please let me know what you guys, if you guys have any ideas of things I should talk about, or if I should make reels or YouTube shorts. Let me know. Okay. Well, bye all. I hope you enjoyed the episode. Make sure to like, comment, sub. Hit that fucking bell, because I know some of you don't. Did you know that only 95% of my viewers are subscribed? Please, if you're part of that 5%, and you know, hey, YouTube's been unsubscribing people randomly, so make sure you... Bye. Bye.